Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Resilience by Faith podcast. Thank you for joining me today. And as you can see, if you're watching us on YouTube, I'm not alone. I'm being joined by Catherine, and she is calling from a special place in the world. I'm going to let her tell you, but I'm super excited as always. We're continuing our mom series, and I'm so grateful for the women who have already come on the show and the women I have yet to interview, the stories that they share, the things that they teach me. And I'm sure you guys have been learning things along the ride too. I'm getting feedback from my guests that you guys are reaching out and you are asking more questions. And that's exactly what I want you to do. I want you to reach out to these women. I want you to give feedback. I want you to even just say, hey, I really enjoyed your episode. I learned so much. That really goes a long way, not for me, but to let them know that they are appreciated and that they did make an impact. But welcome, Catherine. Thank you for taking time out your day to come on the show, give insight, and share your story. Can you tell the audience where you're calling in from?
Sure. I'm calling in from Sweden. Hi, Reese. Hi, everyone. I'm really happy to be here on your show, and I'm looking forward to this conversation with all of you.
Yes, I think it's really, really, really important because you give a different perspective. So without giving a whole lot away, let the audience know kind of your take on the mom series and kind of how you fit into, I guess, the series and what we've been talking about.
Sure. So I just want to give an introduction first about myself. So my name is Catherine. I'm 36 years young. I was born and raised in the Philippines. I have traveled in between. My family immigrated to the US when I was 20. And in between those years, from the time I was born and from the time that right now, I had lived in other countries for work, for love, and for all other things. And in this type of lifestyle, you don't really see yourself. I am an overly responsible person. That's, I think, if there's someone to actually ask me what type of person I am, I could definitely consider myself that. And for this reason, and for the lifestyle that I have carried all these years, I never really saw myself being a mother, but something magical or something unexpected happened to me over a year ago. Well, yes, over a year ago. I have to do the math in my head. I ended up in this very healthy and loving relationship with a man who has kids from a previous marriage. And so fast forward to today, I consider myself a bonus mom of three. Two loving and beautiful kids. Their names are Smilla, Luda, Melker. And in fact, I celebrated my first Mother's Day just recently. The Mother's Day weekend in Sweden just happened last week. And just the trivia that we celebrated differently. We have a different date here compared to the US and in the Philippines. So I've actually celebrated it twice. And so here I am, Reese, and I'm happy to talk to you or to everyone else about my journey. It's been very fruitful, challenging, and this really tested my resilience. But as they say, like the higher the climb, the more beautiful the view. And so here I am.
Yes, and that is beautiful. That is certainly beautiful. I have to ask you though, are you the oldest kiddo out of your
Yes,
siblings? Yep,
yes, I
I
am.
can recognize oldest girls. I am too. I just did a whole, this is a separate topic, but I did a whole topic on like, it's not like an exact diagnosis, but eldest daughter syndrome and how we are very responsible and are very resilient and are very mature and the
True.
things that we have to take on and the caretaker role and the mediator role and how even sometimes we have to be parents to our parents. I did a whole video on it on YouTube and the research that scientists and other schools have come up with just proving that, yeah, we do mature a lot faster, not in like menarche or anything like that, but just in the sense of mentally, like it's a lot. So I'm thankful to meet a fellow eldest daughter. Yes.
It actually makes sense because, if we happen to be the eldest daughter in the family and we happen to have parents, I think if there's any common denominator with parents, it's the fact that whether you're rich, you're poor, educated, not educated, like whatever state you're in, I think everyone wins it in the first, the
Yes.
first eye, right? And so
Yes.
and we happen to be the first. It's like we're like the guinea pig of the family, if you think about it. And I just wanted to squeeze in a quick story. So before I had like a prom, so we had a prom, and the prom ends at 12, and I am the eldest of four. So my dad gave this not agreement, but he said I have to be home by 12. And so you can imagine my prom ends at 12, but I have to be home at 12. So as early as 11, I have to like prep myself, think of how to get home, so on and so forth. The next to me, her name is Christine. She was able to finish the prom and she was able to go home. I think my dad allowed her to go home at least 1 or something. And then my sister was able to go to the after party and she went home at 4. My brother never came back. So it's like, so you can imagine what an eldest daughter have to go through, because our parents are just doing it and they're doing their best, right? And so that's just like a funny story to just inject. And I love my parents. So
yes, no. I totally agree. Me and my brother, we have a 5-year difference. And I mean, if he decided to take a break, halfway through his education, he went into the armed forces, he got out, then he took another break. And so now he's going back for his master's. Me, don't stop your education, because if you take breaks, you're not going to want to go back to school. It's just best to go all the way through. And I agree, it is best to go all the way through. But if somebody would have said, just do whatever feels best for you. If you feel like you need to take a break, if you feel like it's too much, then it would be nice. But no, I got told no breaks for you. Like, you just go straight through. And I went all the way straight through years. When I was done, I was tired. I still am tired, still repairing, but yeah, I totally get it. Like, the youngest kiddos could get away with murder. The oldest kids is like military type, strict type. Yes, I don't understand. Yes. But
it's not fun at that time, but like years after, you can think about it with more reflection and more kindness, because as an adult, you think about things differently.
You do, definitely. It's crazy to say, but I have just come to the realization, I think on our last Life Just Goes On, and you just continue to evolve. But I can relate to you in the sense that I don't have kids and I don't know if I'm going to be a mom or if I want to be a mom. I'm still thinking about it. But this mother series have changed and shaped my perspective. And I've spoken, our very first guest, she was a mom who, her and her husband decided not to have children and they were fine with it. And now I get a chance to speak with you, who have not naturally or carried children, but you're a bonus mom. And I listened to a pastor, her name is Sarah Jakes Roberts. She talks all the time about how her and her husband came together and now they have a blended family, and kind of some of the things that they had to go through, like with mom's biological mom meeting bonus mom, and kind of coming together to create a relationship, or even the relationship between the bonus mom and the children. Could you give us some, I guess, backstory? Did you meet Bio Mom, and how was that? Or if you didn't meet Bio Mom, then how did you and the children kind of create a bond and get to know each other to where you are from the beginning to where you are now?
Sure. So actually, I just want to give you a background of my story. My story with his name is Linus. So when we met, that was, I think, March of last year. So March 2023. We enjoyed our time together, and then maybe months after, we decided to, for us to kind of meet the kids, so to speak. We started with Melker, the youngest, and then from there I did a bit of visits, and then eventually I moved in, right? So with my relationships with my kids, I am pretty close to them. I tend to them. I think I'm a nurse, so I feel like even if I'm not practicing as a nurse, it's natural for me to care for others. In fact, my purpose in life, if I would have to summarize it, is to make a difference and to be of service. So even with the kind of work that I put myself, into, or the activities rather, it's along those lines of actually to be in the service of other people. It's funny because whenever I tell this story to my friends, or whenever Linus would tell this story to his friends, they actually find it strange but charming and comforting to know that me and the bio mom, her name is Hannah, we're actually close. So when we met, we usually, so before, the way that we met is every Sundays. So every Sundays they do this thing called the switch. Well, actually we just named it, me and Hannah named it eventually, but there's a story for that. So every Sundays we have the kids every other week. So of course, when in the earlier days of our relationship, I would meet her, and I would like make her comfortable, like, do you want some coffee, or just chat to get to know her. And basically I just, I have been myself. I don't really like concealing how I feel about other people, and I'm generally nice. I like the idea of being open,
Right.
and being mindful of my biases towards other people. So I had been this kind of person. And then so each time that we switched, our conversations just grew. So, and then at one time she just sent a text, Kate, you might find this strange, but I actually like your company. Would you like to join me for a wine and dinner sometime? And I'm like, of course, I wouldn't mind that. And then so we just ended up striking this friendship, so to speak. So now we have this thing called the switch, wherein when it's her turn to leave the kids with us, she takes me with her, and then we wine and dine. So that's why it's called switch. And then we celebrate her freedom day one of the week. So and then we just have a chat, and we just, we have a separate relationship, so to speak. And whenever I have, problems at work or finance, or even, sometimes if I just need a friend to confide when it comes to like my personal life, me and the mom actually talk. So, and it's right. And during Mother's Day, we were even together. So Mother's Day, we invited her here. So she was here with Linus and I and the kids, and we just had like a nice barbecue out. So I don't know how you feel about this type of story, but here it is. You tell me what you think.
I think it's beautiful, because even if I were to put myself in your shoes, the number one thing I would be concerned about is, because biological moms do have a lot of pull when it comes to the relationship, even though you're in a relationship with the guy, but those are her children, and she could say, no, like, I don't want a new woman around my children and them calling them, like, it's a whole type of tobacco. And the fact that y'all were able to come together and actually be cordial and rather build a friendship and be with each other and like each other's company, I think is something to say about your personality and your character, but also hers as well. That, he did a good job at picking his wife, or and the women that he's choose to associate himself with, because both of you guys have great character and great personalities. So you guys logically just blended and meshed. And I'm pretty sure there's something to say about how the kids feel about that, because whether they're with you or their biological mother, it really doesn't make a difference. They know that they'll be cared for, they'll be treated correctly, they'll be fed, they'll get everything they need. They just get the benefit of having two moms now and grandparents in the mix, or whoever else. So I think it's wonderful, and it's wonderful not to have a whole lot of bickering and turmoil in the relationship and different things. It's just flows. And I think that's beautiful for all parties involved.
Right. Actually, it started strange for my partner because, so, they have been divorced for like 8 years. And in the middle of those 8 years, of course, my partner had relationships in between, but none of this kind of happened with any one of them. And so I think it was a bit strange for him to kind of not find out, but to actually be in the situation wherein, well, me and his ex-wife happens to have like a separate relationship. We go out on our own. We fix things on our own even. And she even told me recently, which is very flattering, she just told me that I'm the best bonus mama ever for the kids. And so it was like, at first it was strange for him. And she would even give me clothes, like, this doesn't fit me anymore. I was like, no, let me take that. That's like a fashionable item. And so we would just, And she was like, "Oh my God, you guys get a room." And then there was even like a time, like maybe 3 weeks back, she was like, "Kate," Hannah was like, "Kate, come here, I have something to show you." And she actually gave me a bouquet of
Oh,
peonies because she knows that I love peonies. And Linus is like, "Oh my God, both of you." So we have this type of like really close relationship. And
right.
at the end of the day, it's about the kids, right?
It
And we want to
is.
make sure that kids feel safe at home. And that's
Right.
also the reason why I didn't push myself moving in with Lena's at first.
Uh-huh.
Because for me, I'm like, if I'm your child and there's like a stranger technically at home, you kind of need to warm up. I'm not gonna be the person to like shove it in my face. Hey, I'm your dad's partner right now. You gotta
Mm-hmm.
like live. So I even had to, for the weeks that they were here before,
Uh-huh.
for maybe about 2 months, I would live somewhere. So
Uh-huh.
I have my own place somewhere here, and
Uh-huh.
whenever we just want to see each other, then I come over. But on the weeks that they're not around, of course, I live here. So that's how I'm very particular with the feeling of safety, because I myself need to
Yeah.
feel safe. And we all
Yeah.
want a home to feel like a home. So
Right. But you did, out of respect for them, the children, your husband, like the whole situation, you made it very easy for it to kind of like go in slowly. Like you didn't just, like you said, rush everything. You didn't move in on day one. You introduced yourself. You kept it separate. You created boundaries that were
mhm,
healthy and made them feel comfortable enough to want to say, okay, maybe like I am comfortable with her moving in, or maybe I do feel like I know a little bit about her. I would be okay with her moving in and being with dad, and like, let's see how this goes. So
mhm,
you took it slow for them. Now that
right.
like you guys have been together for a little while, what would you say would be the biggest thing that the kids have taught you about yourself? Like, how did they stretch you and how did they grow your personality, and how did you kind of like evolve with the children to create this relationship? Do y'all have like, I don't know, like little things that are just special to y'all? Yeah.
I think if there's anything that I learned, because so I'm the eldest of four, like I said earlier, but during the pandemic, my siblings became first time parents. And of course, during the pandemic, I remained to be, by the way, so my partner, even if like Hannah calls me the best bonus mom, my partner remains to be my partner. We are not
Yeah.
married, of course. That is the plan. Just at least here, and it's all good. But
Uh-huh.
because this is relating to the story, right? So my
Yeah.
siblings, they happen to be, well, they got married. They became like first time parents, and
Uh-huh.
I had been wondering. You know how it is as the eldest, and you would see
Yes.
your younger siblings have families, and all of a sudden,
Yes.
like my sister, she sleeps for like 12 hours, and all of a sudden, how did you end up like from 12 hours to almost no sleep and still carry yourself with grace? You know what I mean? It's
Yes.
like, I don't know how to do that. And I have this, not flaw, but it's a
Uh-huh.
working in progress, wherein I tend to be a perfectionist.
Right.
I have this strong relationship with control, wherein, how it is, if the schedule is this, that, then I
Yes.
follow it. And I want to be the best. Like my bare minimum is usually the best. And so I actually asked my sister, how do you do it? Like,
Mm-hmm.
to be honest, like, I feel like I'm gonna go crazy if, like, let's say, because
Yeah.
I usually want the best for everyone, and let alone if it's like your own kid. And she told me something that's very important that I feel like stuck with me, and now I apply it here.
Yes.
She said that you have to understand, Kate, that you cannot do everything. You can do something which takes your everything, but you cannot do everything as an output, and you have to accept that. Because me, I'm the type of person that if I end up missing a dot, I would probably, sometimes my inner critic is just so harsh, like,
Yes.
so anyway. And before, I lived in an apartment. Now I lived in a home, so the cleaning, the maintenance and everything, it takes time now. And me, I'm
Right.
very deliberate with my time, so it means, I like to clean. I have to clean. If the kids need a home that is clean, and it's like cleaning, it's almost like an obsession if you think about it.
Yeah.
Folding clothes, making sure that they're comfortable, and to the point that there was a time like, oh my God, in my head, like, I can't take this, etc. But with the kids around, and with this type of situation that has been going on for the last month, I learned to kind of be kind to myself, and
Mhm.
to prioritize, and to accept that I can't do everything. If I don't want to burn myself, then I have to just prioritize. So before, I'll give an example. Before, for every, remember, these are like 3 kids, so things are everywhere. So I have this habit for myself wherein I really have to put it like where it's supposed to be. But usually
Yeah.
when you have kids, you put it where it's supposed to be, and then the next day it's gonna be pretty much the same. And I'm like, am I gonna be doing this like every day? So I had to negotiate with myself, because for me, if I have to do something now and I don't end up doing it like right now, from the
Right.
time that I decided it has to be now, from the time that it hasn't been done, there's this
Yeah.
rumination in my head, like,
Mm.
oh no, like it's really an itch. I had to like contain that. And so I guess, being a bonus mom every other week allowed me to exercise this.
Right.
So fast forward to today, I no longer obsess about, okay, order, but rather, are they happy? Are they having a great time? Because if, like, let's say their things are everywhere and I see that they're happy,
Right.
why would I focus my energy fixing rather than appreciating that they're happy and they're playing around and they're getting along? You know what I mean? And then I could just do it the next day or 2 days ago. So it's not like I'm not cleaning in any way. I just have to kind of portion my energy.
Right.
Um, so I learned that, and of course, it's also because of what my sister said, and
Mhm.
I took it with me, and now I could see it like working for me as well.
Yes, I would say, like, going back to that, the eldest daughter syndrome, like giving yourself breaks and being graceful, like giving
Right.
yourself grace. We have grace for other people, but it's very hard to like channel that grace inward sometimes. And it's just like, no, I'm gonna go do this, go grocery shopping, come back, mop, vacuum, or vacuum mop, put up the dishes, start the washing machine, put it in the dryer. Like, it's just like, it's like I have to do all these things. I have to. It's like a checkbox,
Oh
and
yes, I'm coaching
I
none,
yes,
so I have.
even I had to slow down too. Like, I really had to slow down. Even just recently, I think this year, I was starting to learn that lesson that you're gonna burn out. Like, you're literally burning the lamp at both ends. Something has to give. And I have learned that it's okay. Like, if I don't get 5 things done, I have learned just to say, what are the top 3 things I need to get done today? And then I take care of them, and that's fine. But for the longest, I think I've just thought about having kids as like, I want to be the best if I were to like have children, mother children. And so I'm thinking all that entails. And I even think about my mom and how she did it. I'm like, I have no idea how she did it, but I just know if I have children, I want to give them the best. But then I have thought about it in a different light, that I am the best. Like, I'm the best in where I am right now. And
Correct.
that I don't, it's not checkbox, but like you said, are they happy? Do they have everything that they need? Why put the stress on yourself and like the strain, saying, well, this isn't done. They're happy and they're playing over, but you just, it takes the joy out the situation for you when you
Right.
change the perspective the other way. So switching it back the other way, you get to enjoy it too. You get to not experience that stress, or
True.
it's a bit of doubt, like just bringing you down, like, "Oh, this isn't clean, so I can't enjoy it, or I can't be proud in this moment. I can't
True.
enjoy this moment." So I'm glad that you said that, because I agree. I've been learning that too.
I also wanted to add that it also pays to know why you do it, right? And know the love language of the recipient. So, like, I'll give an example. When I try to clean around, it's actually for them, because I want them to have a clean, place. I want it to be hygienic for them. I don't want them to have like diseases, so on and so
Right.
forth, or I don't want them to itch, etc. But,
Uh-huh.
as a child, maybe that's not really what you want. You just want your parents to be with you, or for them to spend quality time with you, or to feed them, because
Uh-huh.
usually they like, my milkshakes, my food. So rather, instead of me cleaning up, I would usually ask, are you hungry? Do you want me to make you some milkshakes, tea? And they're like, yes. So I put my
Yeah.
energy there instead, because I know that they feel cared for when I do that, rather than actually cleaning. So do
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? It's like you do
Yeah.
it because them, and maybe that's not what they need. That is your itch. So if I kind of wire myself this way, it's easier for me to let go of the itch and rather focus on what do they need for them. So
Yes. And kind of how did, because I know you said for your partner, and sorry for making that assumption earlier, I'm sorry, but like for your partner, it was kind of awkward or kind of odd, like what is going on in the beginning. But now, how does he look at the situation? Has he ever like sat down with you after all of this is said and done and just kind of like giving you your flowers, but also given the whole situation, just talked with you about the whole perspective about how he thinks things are going now.
So he's actually
Looking
fine
back.
with it. When I say fine, sorry with my terms, because you would usually say, like, when you say it's, we have this, um, uh, what do you call this? Like, we have this lingo that when he
Uh-huh.
says it's okay, Swedish okay means it's not okay. It's just
Uh-huh.
fine, but I mean, it's not okay. But I'm Asian, so when I say if it's Asian okay, it's like above the bar or something.
Yeah.
So anyway, when I say fine, sorry, let me correct that. He's actually happy that he's happy in the way that he would joke about, Hannah being so hard to please. And, Hannah also knows this. And, we're able to get along. So he's just happy that we're able to create this family that makes the kids like safe and happy and how do you call that? Like loved. Um and it takes team effort, right? One of the things that I think one of my reservations before is, look, I never wanted to become a mom. All of a sudden I am. And it's not just a biological, because if it's like a biological parent, like a mother, and it's like a husband and a wife, you bear a child. It's a simple family. It's a simple construction of what a family is, but this is blended. So it also means that as a bonus mom, you don't want to over involve, but you don't want to be sorry, you don't want to overstep, but at the same time, you don't want to under involve yourself. So you kind of like it's a constant play for me to balance it out. And he
Yeah.
actually thinks that I'm doing a great job, and that he's very happy that I get along with Hannah. I get along not even just with Hannah, even with Hannah's mom. Hannah's
Yeah.
mom actually just wanted to walk like because I usually walk with Lena's mom as well every week.
Uh-huh.
So we would do errands every week, and her name is Elizabeth,
Yeah.
and she said, "Oh, you know what? Budul is the name of Hannah's mom. Budul
Yes.
also to do this with you, so we can do it all together." So I'm also close
Yes.
with Hannah's parents, so I get to
Mm-hmm.
see them. She actually dropped by here earlier just to say hi,
Oh,
and
yes.
all those little things. So I think he's very happy with the result, because I mean, who wouldn't be happy if you think about it? um
Yes.
like, even when I go to the salon, they would ask a bit of my situation, why I'm here in Ängelholm now, because I transferred. Ängelholm is like the south of Sweden.
Uh-huh.
They would ask like, why are you here now? You came from the city, you know what I mean? So, and of course I tell a brief story about it. They were like, that's not really so common, but I'm glad that it's working out for you, because I think a lot of people are used to this evil stepmom story. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, I know, I'm not in that situation for like, apparently.
No.
So he's very happy about the outcome, and what do you call this? And at the same time, he also thinks that right now he's more in contact with Hannah, because the past few years, they would just, but because I have that relationship with her, it kind of brings all of us closer. But for the sake of the kids and for the sake of, being safe, and so
Yes. So I have to ask now that before we were just like, no, I don't see myself there. And now we are a bonus mom. Do you
mhm.
kind of, if for the future, if it happens in the future, or do you think like the desire to be a mom is there? Could you see yourself kind of mothering your own, adding your own children to the mix with the bonus kids? Or do you kind of feel like, the bonus kids are enough. I'm okay, like being a mom
Yeah, I
this
would joke
way?
about it with Hannah that I was like, we're good with these three.
Yes.
So right now, my standard is like, come on, from 0 to 3, Reese.
Yes, from 0 to 3. You're just like, I don't know if I can add one more. We're good. We're
Joke.
good. We're okay.
My brother-in-law even made a joke also. This is what you mean when you said you don't want to have a child. You want to have
Yes.
children. But they would just joke about it. It's like, to answer your question,
Yeah.
right now I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good with
Pretty
3.
content. Yes,
Yeah.
pretty good with 3. I don't blame you. I love it. You, like you said, from 0 to 3 overnight. So we're here. We're here. We're good. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. You shared so much. I can literally talk to you for the rest of the day because you said so many things, like your adventures traveling and living in other countries, how you guys met. There's so many things. You're a nurse, so there's so many things I would love to ask you. And I know like we're running low on time, but if my audience wants to reach out to you and they want to ask more questions to you or just give you feedback and tell you what they got from the show, how can they find you?
I'm usually active on LinkedIn. So it's www.linkedin.com/in/Catherine AEC. I could also leave you the link later so you could, post it and add it in the show notes.
Uh-huh.
I'm usually there. And if there's anyone who would like to provide feedback or would like to share insights with me as well, and being a bonus mom, I would be very interested to strike a connection and have some, conversations going. Because I think the situation, to be a bonus mom, I feel like it's a very interesting position to be.
Yes, it
So
is.
not
Yes.
just motherhood, but it's a different scope, I feel. So
Right. Yes. Scope is correct. Yes. Because I was just going to say it definitely is a different perspective. And just trying to put myself in your shoes, I'm just like, oh, I would have felt overwhelmed in the beginning, as anybody would. But then just to reflect on like hindsight, looking back on everything and just seeing where things are now, be happy, like just being happy with where you are and kind of the flow of things and how things go. And you even gained some family members. You have an extra mom, an extra sister now. So it's beautiful. It's beautiful. And it just
so I
adds to
think
you. Yes. Well, thank you so much, audience, for listening like we do every 2 weeks. Thank you for tuning in and week out. Thank you for your comments, your feedback, the love that you show every guest that come on the show. I have literally enjoyed this mom series. In a couple more weeks, it'll be ending, but I have learned so much from each of these women, and it's given me a whole lot to think about and reflect on, even in my own life. And I'm just excited for life has to offer me and what's coming up for me in the future, but I'm sure you are too. So guys, again, I appreciate you, and I will see you in 2 more weeks. If you need to reach out and give me any type of feedback, Resilience X Faith POD on Instagram and Resilience by Faith podcast with Reese on Facebook. And I'll see you guys in 2 more weeks. Bye guys. Have a great week. Bye, Catherine. Thank you.